Are you beginning to plan a pool project for your backyard, and looking for a frame of reference to begin assembling the budget for that project? Are you wondering how much pool or what type of pool could you get for $50,000, $75,000, $100,000? Or maybe you're looking at your backyard and you're wondering, how much would a 10 by 20 pool cost back here? How much would a 20 by 40 foot pool cost in my backyard? My friends, these are the things we're going to discuss today, and at the end of this video, I think you're going to have a good frame of reference to begin assembling the budget for a pool project in your backyard. What's up guys, I'm Christian with River Pools, and today we're talking about general pricing for in-ground pool projects to give you a frame of reference to begin building the budget for your project. Now, it's important, super important to understand that you need to speak with an independent installer serving your area, because he or she is going to be able to assess your backyard, take the specifics you have in mind, the vision for your project, put pen to paper and come up with a much more specific number than we can provide for you. Again, this information is intended to just be a general guide to help you get started with this process. So you're thinking you have a budget of about $50,000 in mind. An in-ground pool is possible, but your options are very limited. You might be able to find a vinyl liner pool kit at this price point, maybe some assistance from a builder installing it, but you're more than likely looking at a DIY project from start to finish, or a DIY heavy project. Just remember, at River Pools, we do not recommend DIY projects to anyone. In fact, our recommendation is that you always seek a professional to handle the installation for you. There's just too many things that could go wrong that could cause you a headache in the future. So what if I set aside $75,000 for a budget? Well, now you're beginning to open up possibilities for an in-ground pool. You likely could end up with a vinyl liner pool with some accessories. I'm thinking a couple LED lights, maybe a simple water feature. As for fiberglass and concrete, they begin to become options as well, but you need to think in terms of them being on the smaller side, like 10 by 20-ish, somewhere in that range. Are you thinking $100,000 or more for your budget? Well, all three pool types are certainly options here, but most seem to be leaning towards fiberglass or concrete pools when we get above that $100,000 mark. Folks are looking to add options and accessories and elaborate a bit more on the pool deck and outdoor living space. It's not uncommon to see projects exceed that $100,000 mark. In fact, more often than not, we're seeing these types of projects go $135,000, $150,000 or more all over the country. Maybe you're not sure where your budget should start, and instead you're looking at your backyard wondering, how much would a pool that's 12 by 24 feet in dimension cost, or one that's 20 by 40? How much would that cost? So let's take a look at those numbers, and in the following we'll be referring to the starting costs, or what might commonly be called the base package. These figures probably are not going to include any decking, any fencing, any options, accessories, or upgrades of any kind. So an in-ground pool that is 12 by 24 foot in size, you might expect a vinyl liner pool to start at about $45,000. A fiberglass pool to start at about $55,000, and a concrete pool to start at about $65,000. For a pool that is 15 by 30 foot in size, you might expect a vinyl liner pool to begin at $55,000, a fiberglass pool to begin at $65,000, and a concrete pool to begin somewhere around $80,000. For a pool that is 16 by 32 foot, you might expect a vinyl liner pool to begin at $65,000, a fiberglass to begin at $75,000 to $80,000, and a concrete pool to begin at around $95,000. And lastly, a pool that is 20 by 40 feet in dimension, you might expect a vinyl liner pool to begin at $90,000, and a concrete pool to begin at about $120,000. But Christian, you didn't mention anything about fiberglass pools in the 20 by 40 foot dimension. That's because they typically don't exist. Fiberglass pools have to be transported down the highway because they're made as a single unit and brought to your home that way. So those dimensions typically max out at 16 feet wide, but they do go up to 40, sometimes a little bit more than 40 feet in length. But if you're thinking about a fiberglass pool that is 16 by 40 foot in dimension, you should expect the starting cost to begin anywhere from $90,000 to $100,000. That's a 40-footer right there on the bottom, just for reference. Remember, these figures are only referring to the base package, so just the starting cost. You'll need to speak with an independent installer serving your area to get more specific numbers that include things like the patio, the outdoor living space, the options, accessories, all of the things you have in mind. So now the question remains is, what type of pool should you get? Vinyl, fiberglass, concrete? Head on over to riverpoolsandspas.com and take the pool type quiz for a bit of guidance. Okay, my friends, now you have a good frame of reference for how much or what type of pool you could get for $50, $75, or $100,000. And you have a general understanding about the costs for pool projects based on the size of the pool. I'm Christian with River Pools. We will see you in a future video, my friends. Catch the wave.